Hey everybody, it's Jen with RunWell, and this is the Where Do You Run Well podcast, where we feature local athletes doing big things, setting big goals in the middle of a pandemic. And we are sitting here with Rachel and Josh, and they are running buddies. And how far back does your friendship go?
Probably since
It's a year, maybe a little more.
Yeah, my first run with RunWell on Wednesday nights was July 31st, 2019. So it's been
Probably about that time, yeah. So that's more than a year.
Awesome. So the RunWell group can be a pretty big group. How did you two end up just kind of finding each other in the group? And was it related to your pace? Or?
Yeah, it was pace. I think the first time we ran together, you were only going to run maybe 4 miles that night. And I said, but don't you want to go a little farther? And he did.
The power of suggestion and,
Yeah.
You're pretty persuasive, Rachel.
Thank
She
you.
is. She is.
All right, so I want to get a sense of both of you and kind of what life is like for you during this pandemic, like who wants to go first?
Josh wants to talk first.
It's just about keeping things simple, just making smart decisions, getting your runs in, taking time for yourself. I think that's really important to do, and I think that's helped me with my running. It's helped me become a better runner, just to kind of focus more on myself during the pandemic. And so I think that's
like
really,
on your health, you think, like mental and physical health or well-being, or
Yeah, I'd say well-being, mental health, physical health as well. I've become, a faster runner this past year, so it gave me a little bit of time to focus a little bit more. So
okay. And so who's your support system, Josh? So we're in the middle of a pandemic, and the world is upside down, and we're trying to navigate and figure it out, and you're setting goals. So just to get everyone to get a sense of, what your life is like on a daily basis, or what kind of things that you've gone through with this pandemic personally, and who do you have at home? And sometimes your support system, you depend on yourself, or so take us through that. Maybe take us from March when the pandemic hit, and give us an idea of kind of what life's been like through the pandemic.
Well, I rely a lot on my parents, and they rely a lot on me too, just to have that support. And they live in the same neighborhood, so I can literally walk to their house, and say hi.
Oh, good. I know they love that. I'm sure.
And they can come to my house and say hi. And I always like having that support, and the RunWell community for running. That was great. Seeing everyone back in those times before that, and talking online through social media, through Strava, on our runs, and post pictures, and so we could be together without being in person, and so that really meant a lot to me. And then also talking to Rachel, and getting to run and train and those types of things, it really made me a better runner, keep me more focused, and it allowed me to become ready for the next adventure or race. So
Excellent. So running buddy was key. And what has life been like for you, Rachel? Take us through life with Rachel in a pandemic.
All the way back to March. Well, it was hard. It was interesting, in terms of running. My only goals for the year was maybe I'll do a half marathon, maybe I'll, but I didn't have a distance goal. I didn't really, my goal is just to be healthy. So I had a whole lot of time since March to just really focus on health and me, and then it was the food and other things I'm doing, because I've had some Achilles issues in the past. So it was an interesting time to reset. But it's been hard because you can't see the people. I live in the same town as my sister, and we've barely gotten to see each other, just because her job. But my husband and I have been each other's biggest support. We've had to support his family through this too. His mom comes every 3 weeks. She has to get treatments in St. Louis, and so it's we had to, hold up for her safety. And so we've seen a lot of them, which is wonderful. They're fantastic people.
So you just had to really quarantine and be safe.
Yeah,
is
we
what
had
you're
to.
saying,
Yeah,
because she's compromised and
Yeah.
you have to help her. Okay.
Yeah. So it was just for the, so we were very focused throughout the pandemic on health on so many levels. You know,
Sure.
ourselves, you know, like keep ourselves healthy, but also, you know, really focusing on the health and safety of those around us, which has been hard because
Yeah.
we've had to sacrifice a lot, like vacations. Oh my goodness. But, you know,
Oh my gosh, yeah.
you just adjust plans. You do safer options. So,
There you go.
yeah, instead of
Still
going
try
to
have some kind of a life and some fun.
yes.
You know.
Yeah, you make new traditions. Like one thing my husband and I did, we did these little happy hours once a week on a non-running day. I'd get done with work and I would like whip up a little something, a drink and a little appetizer. We'd just sit on our deck and just chill out with our dog.
Oh my gosh.
So,
Awesome. And just carving out that time. Like what
Yeah.
you would do if you would have went to a restaurant or something, you would
Right.
really have that one-on-one time and be in the moment. So you were just recreating that
Yeah.
at home.
yeah, it's just like a reset of some of those
Awesome.
priorities in addition to like supporting our local businesses that we love, like RunWell.
Well, thank you. That it definitely matters. You know, we had a ton of support through that time. So yeah, thanks to everybody for that, because it really does take, you know, it takes a village, and you know, we love this community, and they love us. They really rallied around us. So that was crazy, scary, wild time. But back to you two. And so you two set a goal, and that goal was to run a half marathon
Yes.
at your fastest pace, your personal best half marathon.
Yes.
And when you set this goal, was your race still scheduled to happen?
So we didn't actually plan a race. When I say like my goal is to run a half marathon, it was, well, maybe that one or this one, but it was never like a specific one. Like no race loyalty going into the year.
Yeah, and no like real commitment to
No,
a race.
I'm bad about signing up for things in advance because I got burned last year because of it. You know, you sign up for a race, oh, I can't run it.
Yeah.
I'm out the money, you know.
But see, I've gotten burned the other way too, where you don't sign up early enough and you're like, oh, I set a PR, but guess what? I don't get a shirt because I didn't register in time. So I've been hosed on that end too.
That's the good thing about virtual races. You've got a bigger window there.
Well, true. Okay, so it was virtual. So you
Yes.
decided when did you start training?
I would say pretty much all year.
It was just
Right.
building up because I just wanted to keep increasing my mileage. I didn't have like a training plan. I create my own training plan that I run.
And then you're on board with that. So she's telling you what you're running, or
Yeah.
did you have a plan?
well, he did his own thing too. Like we
Yeah.
run sometimes together, but we just like talked about what we were doing.
So you're on the Rachel fake nebulous plan.
I basically follow the plan that I used to run for high school cross country. Like that same pattern, it just is ingrained in me. So I'm like, and I need to do a speed workout today because that's what you do on Mondays.
Right, for sure. And
Well-
what plan did you have, Josh?
Well, I would just wanted to go out and run and just not really have a set goal and say, hey, if I get to 700 miles for the year, that's what I wanted to do. You know, I also go cycling, so I wanted to at least maybe try to get to 1,000 miles on the bike. But, you know, I would run here and there, and we ended up doing in early June the RunWell 7-year anniversary scavenger hunt, so we did that.
Yeah, we did.
Yep. And then later in the month, we did the Route 66 10K for the Metro Milers, and we both got first in our age divisions.
I think so. Or second. I don't remember.
Yeah, and so that was fun, and it just kept building.
I think it was doing the 10K that we're like, okay, yeah, we could do a half
fast.
together. Yeah,
You're fast. You guys are like,
we
hey.
could do that.
Well, when you start to see results,
Right.
and you go on the Strava or
That is motivation.
yeah, and you see that, and it's like, well, maybe I can, you know, shave off a couple seconds here or there, or run a little faster, or do some hill training, something to kind of, you know, make that increase or get better. And so it just became addicting.
Okay, so at what point was it like, we're going for it? We're going to run our fastest half marathon. So it was after the Route 66 10K?
Probably after that, though. It was sometime, because I don't think we even signed up until maybe September or October.
It was, I think,
And
It
when
was a
the
late-
race?
well, I think in late August you told me, hey, I want to get some more swag for the rest of the year to have something to look forward to.
Well, you have to. That's I
Dangle
wanted.
a little carrot out
You
there.
know it. I think, yeah, I had something. Well, we wanted to do a half. I'm like, hey, let's do a half because we talked about it before. It's like we need to pick one and sign up. But the swag is important
Yeah.
because since we decided we wanted to do a virtual, there were some in person that happened this fall. But we were like, no, not yet. But we were looking at different races, and we chose our race solely based on swag because we could have control over the course.
For sure.
So we're like, well, what's going to be the best?
So you picked the Innsbruck Half Marathon.
We did.
Yes.
Because
And tell me about this amazing swag that lured you to run your
it was
fastest
really
half
just
marathon.
the logo.
That is a
It
pretty
looks
sweet
really
logo.
nice. And we got a mask in the medal. The medal has a beer opener right there.
Oh yeah, that's a good hefty medal too.
It's a
full
good
of
solid
color,
medal.
and it's a bottle opener as
It's
well.
a bottle opener. I mean, you can't beat that. And it was a nice shirt too. It was that between that and Halloween, and we didn't want the cartoony. Sorry.
Gotcha. Well, so great swag, and so then the training is on. And how did you two motivate each other to train, to run hard when you needed to run hard, to
think-
get out there all the time, over and over again?
I think we just kept in communication. We just talked a lot. Hey, this weekend I'm doing this. I'm doing this. How do the run? Just like keeping in touch. We didn't always run together.
So accountability
Absolutely.
buddies. Okay.
Yeah. And then I think another big thing throughout this whole pandemic, because we're both Metro Milers, that we've had our monthly challenges. So that's kept us connected too. And when we could, talk and plan, sometimes we do together like the plogging, we pick up trash. What other things did we do? We like certain.
Oh, you had hill challenges.
Hill challenges,
and
all those-
daily,
and
like
those were
run
great.
streak challenges. And,
Yeah.
Well,
So
we went to Edwardsville High School once to do some speed work at the track.
yeah, I
That was
made him
fun.
do some speed work.
Oh,
Yeah.
very good.
He
Well,
was
that's how you
sore.
get faster.
I
I
Yeah.
love
Right?
it. I love it.
Which I love to sprint, so, and at that time I was recovering from a knee injury, so I was able to sprint for the first time in a few months, and it felt really great.
Oh, yeah. It's a totally different workout, isn't it? Yeah.
Yep.
It's excellent.
It is. It's a good workout. Everyone should check that out. I mean, it's a little uncomfortable, but that's how you make changes.
It's like
so.
ab workout in
It really
hiding.
is.
too.
Right. Disguise, core workout, disguise,
Boom.
is speed work. So tell me some funny stories about your training, like anything you guys encountered, or maybe you were doing one of your challenges or running together,
Something funny.
or memorable, or it was a memorable day, or
It was a Thursday. No, I'm joking.
did anyone hurl after speed work, or
No.
no? Dang it, you guys aren't
No.
trying hard enough.
No. I don't.
I would say the conversations,
Yeah.
it's like, since we were in a pandemic, we really missed the Wednesday night group runs,
Absolutely.
the conversations, the nights at Stagger Inn, just talking about your
Oh,
running
yeah.
goals, your runs
Yeah.
you've done, life in general.
Yeah. I mean, we're not only isolated because of the pandemic, we're not only like isolated from our run groups that we normally run with, but also like friends. So just having
Yeah.
a companion,
Yes.
it was so nice. Hey, thanks, Josh.
Yeah, thank you.
Aw.
Yeah, well, I lost my job in July too from the pandemic, and so I really had a lot of time to really, focus on things and think about things, and so it was always nice to have a run to look forward to or someone to talk to
Oh, for sure.
that could understand things like that.
And you can process things, and yeah, your
We
support
actually ended up trying to get together Wednesday nights, especially as it's gotten darker. That's kind of our like RunWell replacement runs. Just because it
if
fits
you
in our
can
schedule.
replace
You
it,
can't.
but you can try.
No.
But so yeah, getting together on Wednesdays, just
Yeah.
trying to keep that Wednesday night commitment
Yeah,
going.
it did, and it fit with the schedule. And it's just like in our brains, it's ingrained. Well, this is how far we run on Wednesdays. So it's just nice to keep that going.
Definitely.
As much normalcy as possible.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about race day then, because you trained, you did your speed work, you have a goal and a plan, and now you're registered for a virtual race.
Yeah.
So, what does race day look like?
Well-
What day of the week did you decide to go do this on?
So we had, because of virtual race, another great thing about virtual racing is they say, okay, you have to run, you basically get a month a lot of times. Sometimes it's on a specific day. So we had the month of November to choose. And there was only one weekend, honestly, that worked for us. So we were kind of like, well, hopefully this will work. So our goal was to run Saturday, but the weather was
A little rainy.
very rainy and
Was it windy
cold.
too?
No, that was the
Okay.
next day.
That was the next day.
All
It
right.
might have been windy that day too, but like I woke up that morning, we'd already decided not to run. Like I think Friday or Thursday we decided to push it.
Probably Friday.
Because we're like, well, we don't have to. And I know like part of us, I felt guilty about it because you're like, you don't get to choose race day, you run. But at the same time, it was like 30s and rainy and
Oh gosh.
There was some thunder,
Not
too.
ideal.
there was thunder in the morning. I remember waking up to it and like, well, glad I'm not running right now.
Yeah. Well, and it's not ideal conditions when you're trying to set a PR.
Right.
Too.
And like the whole PR, you know, we both were like, we're going to run our best races, but at the same time keeping that, well, but we don't know for sure, you know, it'll be fine. Whatever happens, happens. It'll be perfect.
Well, you're giving yourself this little out, though.
yeah.
You know?
But that's, it's in my gut, I knew though. But so ended up pushing it to Sunday. And then we had another change, which was fun. Because of that wind, we were running from the Heritage Trail.
Okay.
We were going to run from Marine to Glen Carbon. Or to the
Glen Carbon Park and
the
Ride.
park and
Okay,
right across from the
perfect.
cabin.
Yeah, point to point then.
Perfect.
Uh-huh.
We're like there, no out and back.
However, there's a whole open section of cornfields, right, where you're just exposed, really. So
Yeah, well, the wind was coming from the west, and we were planning on running west. So we ended up, again, changing our minds and running from Glen Carbon to Marine. Because it's a virtual race and
Because
you
you
can do
can.
that. Exactly.
you can do it.
I mean, who wants to face a 40-mile wind gust
my gosh,
starting out?
no.
Right? In an open farm field, basically,
Right.
in Marine.
If you don't have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
it was-
it's not a set course. You can pick the course.
Exactly. And that first 4 miles or so, like that would have been the worst. That would have killed us. Like you just think about how much energy that would have taken, and like if we would have tried to wear extra layers and you're carrying them because we didn't have.
So what was the temperature on your race day on Sunday? Do you remember?
It was probably, about 35 or 40, but with the wind, it kind of went down.
Well, yeah, it was. I mean, it was low 40s. I think by the time we were
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
But it worked out perfectly. For just like the wind, I felt it a little bit, but what I did feel, it felt good at the time because it was that last little bit, and I'm like, okay, I need a little push.
Yeah. And how did it work with supplies? Were you carrying everything
Everything.
yourself? So you had your water and you had
Absolutely.
so you're wearing like a pack and you've got your stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
And what was the nutrition plan? You've got gels or chews or what do you do?
I had a couple goose, but my problem was I wore too much. So
You wore too
John-
much clothes?
this is my downfall.
Josh has the what not to do list.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I've been running for 15 years, and sometimes I still can't figure out some of these things with nutrition or what to wear, or it's too cold, if it's too warm, those types of things. And so basically I wore some Brooks running pants that I had that might have been a little bit too small, but I thought, hey, they'd work out. It's going to be windy. There's so much wind. You know, I wore a A6 running shirt underneath that was like a hoodie that was really thin. Then I wore a Smart Wool quarter zip on top of that, plus a Mizuno jacket on top of that, plus the running vest, the hydration vest on top of that.
Gloves and a hat and a
Yeah, and a smart wool hat that you delivered to me.
I sure
RunWell
did.
delivers, everyone.
Oh yeah, I remember
And-
delivering that hat, but I didn't know you were wearing all that other stuff. Otherwise, I would have said like, take all that other stuff off
Yeah.
and then put this hat on.
Well, I really tried to nerd out and say, okay, here's what the weather's going to be. What do I need? You know, being out in Marine with those winds, I didn't know, hey, what
Right.
if something does happen? I kind of want to be, you know, safe, or not safe, but, you know, I wanted to be warm. I didn't want to sit there and have chills or something. And so I put a lot of thought into that, and I think just all that tightness just on my torso and everything, it just, probably around mile 4, my stomach just, it wasn't happy.
That's early in the race too,
Yeah.
because it's the Brooks tight pants that you think maybe pushing on the stomach. Or?
Yeah, it was an ordinary morning. Just,
So you ate the normal thing you would
breakfast,
normally eat, and
music, the same album I listen to before I go out and run usually. And
well, and sometimes race day, because you guys were treating this as an actual race.
Oh, absolutely.
And you were, so you could have had a nervous race day stomach.
We were nervous. I was my biggest worry about race day, because we switched our route, we didn't have a bathroom at the beginning, and I'm a nervous peer. Like, I know that I have to go, and
Because they lock those bathrooms.
They don't have any down there.
Oh, okay.
Like,
oh, I see. That's right. You went the other way.
yeah. Marine, I'm like, well, there's a bathroom there, but there was nothing. So, like,
Yeah,
I was...
the one in Marine, I think, is locked. So.
Oh, well, there you go.
There's some bushes with no leaves
Right,
on
there's
them
at least
that
a
you
gas
could-
station closer. Because even the gas station right there in Glen Carbon, it didn't open. I looked. Good. I was very concerned. It worked out fine for me. But
Not so much for your friend over here. Okay.
well, it did in a way
Yeah.
too. So
Oh, okay, good. All right, so you guys are ready. You're getting ready to start. You're 4 miles in, I guess, at this point. Stomach is starting to bother you a little bit. You're doing fine at mile 4, and
yeah.
you two are together
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
that point
Yeah.
in the race.
I had, like, I tried everything out before race day. Like, I had sleeves because I didn't want to wear layers. So I'm like, I need to run at least once to make sure these will work. And I did, and it was, I had a great day. I feel so bad saying that.
well, I started off great too. I mean, we were laughing about it.
We were, because we're like, okay, we're going to have a slower first mile just to get warmed up, just to see how we're feeling today. And then we'll go from there.
Now, when you showed up and she's wearing a tank and shorts,
I did not have shorts. I had pants. I did have pants, but I did have a tank top and sleeves.
you didn't think maybe I should lose a layer? You're like,
Well,
I'm
I-
so
And like
cozy.
one like a headband just covering my ears.
Well, I really do like to run hot. I like the heat. I think it just kind of makes me feel better, and and I think it's just one of those things that I should have reconsidered. And I thought about it at the start, but I'm like, I can just throw it off, or something. And I'm like, I said, you got this, because a couple weeks earlier, I ran pretty much the same course from my house, and I got a great time, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be great. I should be okay, and I thought it'd be okay. I just didn't put two and two together. And I think, like I said, my stomach said, hey, Josh, you shouldn't have done this.
So take us from there. She's like on cloud 9, floating on clouds over here.
Well,
like,
our first mile was a little bit faster than I think we anticipated, and then we got getting faster, and I'm like, okay, well, we're good. We can't slow down now. And
15 miles, I think, something like
we
that.
we were like 3 or 4 miles, even before you were like, if you're feeling it, he was like giving me the out that it's okay to go ahead of him.
When I knew I had a problem.
He didn't tell me that was.
So I got real quiet. We were laughing and singing, and Adam was out there cheering us on. And shout out to Adam for doing that.
He was fantastic.
Yeah.
He showed up at the beginning, and then every single time the trail, like there was a road, he was there
awesome.
with his music. Yeah, he had just like jamming out. I don't even know what songs he was playing, but it helped.
Yeah.
Every single
Yeah,
time.
a friendly face at the crossroad.
Yeah. And I remember you saying, hey, an hour and 15 minutes, we're there. We're going to beat it. Looking at our times right now, I'm thinking, oh, wow, great. But then all of a sudden, like I said, my stomach hit, and it's like, it's that first
He got
moment.
quiet.
Yeah, it's that first moment where it's like, okay, is my stomach, am I, getting hungry, or is this, the other, right? And it was the other, and once I knew that, I was like, oh, and
Oh,
so-
shit.
Yeah,
Literally.
pretty much. Yeah, I was like, well, shiza, and so it was around mile 5 is when I think I told you, I said, hey, if you need to go on. I didn't really say anything. I thought I could catch up.
Well, I thought you were overheating because I saw how much he was wearing and everything.
Yeah.
And so when we were getting close to Adam, I was like, tell him to take things off and give them to him. I'm like, you can just
Yeah.
drop it, but
Yeah, I mean, my heart rate was fine. My blood oxygen was fine. I wasn't breathing heavily. So I was like, well, I'm okay in that way. I just got to fix the stomach issue. And I didn't want to eat one of my goos or something because that could make it even worse.
Put something down there.
yeah,
Yeah.
that would
Well,
be
and the
bad.
stomach knows too, and the stomach sometimes is like, don't you put that down here.
No.
Yeah.
It's going to come back out one way or another.
Yeah, but I could feel the tightness of everything just kind of,
Yeah.
and it bothered me. It really did, So I was like, well, I got to just work past this and then just take it, a half mile by half mile.
So did you talk yourself off the ledge, or did you just have to dip off and handle your business? like a boss in the woods.
No, well, right around 5 miles. I live kind of right by the trail there, in Country Meadow subdivision that goes to Old Troy Road, like where that silo is. That's pretty much where Rachel really started to take off to Marine. And I almost went up there to my house, and I'm like, no, I'll just battle through it. I said, you know what? Chances are in a real race, there's no Johnny on the spots or anything else. I noticed that when I slowed down, it would kind of feel better. So that's pretty much what I did. And I thought, well, maybe it will go away. Because sometimes just when you're out there and you run, you just got to run through it.
Yeah.
And see, unless something really, really bad happens. And I didn't want to stop. I didn't want to,
waste that time.
Yeah, I didn't want to do it. And so I just kept on going. And, I said Beetlejuice 3 times. Actually my grandpa passed away that morning at 2:30 in the morning. And so I was like, Grandpa, give me an extra lift somewhere, and just help me go through, and I kept going, but it wasn't the speed I wanted, but it was within reach of what I wanted, and it was going to be a PR for me. So I was like, as long as I can keep doing what I'm doing, I may not be able to sprint the last couple miles or, be as quick, but I can still, get going. And then once she started pulling away, that's what really put a smile on my face, because I knew that Rachel was going to get a PR. And so that really got me going and saying, that kept me like, hey, Josh, push through.
Let's keep her in sight and let's do the best we can do.
Yeah,
and it helped me that I pulled away because it was that competitive edge of like, yes, I'm going to beat him. Stay back there. Sorry.
No.
He's like all like happy for me. I'm like,
well, we
That's
do.
the killer instinct I'm looking for.
Well, even when we run before, she's like, we're going too fast. I'm like, oh, let's go. Or we'll sprint at the end. I used to love to do that, just to feel that speed and, and you do the speed work. So, but yeah, that's what really kept me going and saying, hey, Josh, just keep on keeping on.
I do want to say, because we knew we didn't have bathrooms, I did have like Kleenexes or toilet paper or whatever in my pack just in case. I could have given it to him, but I didn't because I didn't know.
So she didn't offer him
We joked
any
about it,
toilet
too.
paper.
We joked so hard because I was so paranoid about the bathroom at the beginning. I'm like, oh no.
Hey, toilet paper's a hot commodity. You can't just be willy-nilly passing that out to people,
It's true.
Oh my gosh. So how did it end up? Did you both reach your goals?
So my previous best time, this is only my second half. My first one, my time was like 1:55. And so in my head, I'm like, I'm going to hit 1:50. Well, it was closer to 1:45. I think it was like 1:46.
Oh my gosh.
Something. Yeah. So I was like over the moon excited. My last mile was a little bit slower than I wanted it to be. Like I wanted to be able to get that big kick in, but it didn't quite happen, but like still finished strong. So yeah, like I was so excited that I knocked off that many minutes.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
And so then who was at the finish line for you? Fake finish line.
The fake finish line. It was a real one. No,
Was there a finish line there?
I mean, no. When my watch told me to stop, I stopped, which was actually like a little bit before the people who were there were like Adam was there, my husband who dropped us off, and then he went and got donuts because we were trying to make this feel like a race. So when you're done with the race, you get donuts or something.
You get
something
a stale
yummy.
bagel.
Well,
you're
running the wrong race.
And a little piece of a banana of it.
Well, we had bananas and I had beer, but it was so windy even at the park there that we did not stick around long. So my husband Ryan, thank you Ryan.
Thank you,
our
Ryan.
gopher. He was there, and then Adam went. I get like we said every stop,
The
and then
cheering
the
squad.
end. Yes, and then Josh's parents
Yep.
and their new
Oh my
puppy.
gosh.
Puppy Oliver.
Yeah, they brought a puppy to the finish.
Oh my gosh.
King Charles
That
Cavalier.
is the best.
We almost
Finish line.
stole him.
All right, Josh, how did your race end?
So right around mile 10 is when it kind of opens up to the farm fields and you're out in the open as you approach Marine and you're out of the woods, you cross that little bridge, and for the last 3 miles I would walk for a little bit and then I'd run. Now with the wind, I was still pulling 9.5 minute miles, so that's kind of tells you what I was dealing with and what the conditions were like. And so with that, I probably could have got a little bit faster, but I ended up finishing an hour and 54 minutes. So,
And that was a personal best for you.
yeah, and but I wanted better than that. I wanted to finish at the same time as her, or at least be a little competitive at the
Yeah.
end, where we can say, hey, this is what we've been training for, and so. But I was happy with the results. I had a blast, and it was just a great time, and appreciated every moment of it, and even if I didn't walk, I probably could have hit maybe 150, so I usually hit the 2 hour to
Like a
205.
runner,
Yeah.
True runner, man. I could have done this, but you did set a personal best. Congratulations on your fastest half marathon.
Yeah. So
Like this year of all years,
And it was uphill, right? Doesn't the elevation go up?
Oh, it's so flat. I'm not even hearing any of that.
yeah, it was great.
It was uphill the whole way.
And like
It was
I said,
mountain, right?
Yeah.
And like I said, after losing my job in July, I really had a lot of time to focus and to reassess some things. And so in a lot of ways, I felt like running was like the only thing I had left. Whether it was running, whether it was RunWell, whether it was marketing projects, whether it was different things that involve running. And so that was always a strength that I could work with. And so I really wanted to let that shine on race day for that half. And in many ways it did, but if I didn't have the stomach issues, I probably could be.
Oh my gosh.
And so, like I said, that's kind of like a theme with me on race day. Sometimes I don't do as best as I maybe could have because something happens, or it's a mental thing, or.
We can work on that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So.
Yeah, that and two, the more you can visualize race day, because that does take some of the anxiety and fear out of it. And when I was running my very first marathon, I 5Ks, I would want to race everybody, and I'm like, I'm going to burn myself out. People are going to pass me, and I have to wish them well and stay in my pace. So I started visualizing people passing me waving at them, wishing them well, and staying my pace. So the more you can visualize race day and and the pace and what you think's going to happen, and then just kind of hone in on this Midwest weather too. And if you're going for a personal record, then you always want to dress light. The colder, like that cold will push you a little faster. So just dropping those extra layers would have been the key. And and then those pants that were too tight were just probably hugging your intestines, and that's not.
I will fit into them someday, though.
That's the new goal.
Yeah. Well, and that's the reason why it was fun to do it. How we did it was because like I said, we both run around the same paces, the same distances. We're on the same page on a lot of those things. Yeah. And so, it makes sense that we could push each other to get even better.
Right.
Who knows? If we could have got 140 maybe, if...
130.
Oh my gosh, you guys can do it.
Yeah, and that's the point, because...
we need to set this up again, I think, for next year.
Yeah, or if I could,
Done.
Yeah. Rematch. And a full marathon, too.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Well, yeah. That's the next. We've done this one. Now we want to do a full.
Oh my gosh. Awesome.
Yeah.
So full marathon.
Full marathon.
2021.
Absolutely. We'll maybe plan that one out, actually, and maybe follow a real training plan.
Yeah, probably. That'd be a good idea.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for taking time out and sharing your race day story with us. I think it'll inspire others that, maybe want to go for it. Not really sure how to get started or to find the motivation. Just to close and wrap up, is there any advice you would give people on, kind of how to set goals during a pandemic?
One thing I learned about myself through this race and just running in general this year, that I realized how intrinsically motivated I am. I'm not as motivated by the race itself, if that makes sense, but it's just like the goal, like what I wanted to do.
What your body can do, like what you
exactly.
can
Yeah,
personally...
and I love, I just want to keep pushing that. So I think maybe just to sit with the advice in the pandemic. It's just sit with where you are and what you want, and just figure that out for yourself. You can't just assume that you're like everybody else.
Right. Well, and if you want to set a goal just because somebody else is doing it, then that won't always work for you. When the going gets tough, that won't necessarily get you out the door if that's not what speaks to you. And maybe it's not running related. Maybe it's something in a different area.
Absolutely.
That
just figuring out what does motivate you too. I don't know.
Yeah. Self-reflection, self-awareness, kind of peeling back your own layers and
Absolutely.
learning about yourself.
Yeah, I would just say just get out there and run. If you have a bad day, hey, that pavement's going to be there tomorrow. Tomorrow's a new day. Conquer it then.
Exactly. One bad run, you don't just throw the whole goal away, right? Awesome. Well, thanks again, you two. We look
You're
forward to following you
welcome.
next year for the big marathon training. And hopefully it'll be an in-person race, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, you never know.
If not,
You never know.
hey, the virtual race apparently works for you two.
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. As
We
long
can
as I have bathrooms.
We can run back to Marine twice.
There you go.
Out and back.
Out and back this time, for sure. All right, guys, thanks again.
Thanks, Jen.
And
Thank
thanks
you.
for everyone for listening.
Thank you.
For information on training programs through RunWell Coaching, please visit runwellcoaching.info. And for all other information on events, visit our website at the store, runedwardsville.com. Thanks so much for listening. See you next time.